And Supreme Rising, beautiful souls. Grand Rising. Wow. Supreme Rising on this beautiful rising, this beautiful Monday. Starting our work week in high frequency and high energy. And in high being. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Wow. Well, I just wanted to start off this rising by reminding you that you are a beautiful contribution to the rising of the sun this rising. You have made this day energetically be as magical as it is. And the reason that I say this is because we need to understand who we are in the magical essence of our true being. This is an aspect of us that we know not of. And I'm in hopes to bring that sense of awareness to us so that we can move in that energy. And when that awareness becomes ignited, it creates change. So every little bit that I come across of that sparks my awareness of the truth of who we are, I am going to remind you, because I have reminded myself. And I just wanted to put that energy out there first thing this rising. As the title is indicated at the top of the live, I just wanted to touch on the absence of fear. I know that a lot of us are looking at what has already been manifested in terms of us working, in terms of us paying to live, and all of the things that we do. And it seems that we are the only species that has to pay to live. But I just wanted to say that in order for a lot of this to be resolved, we have to remove ourselves out of the frequency of fear. And also understand that these things that we now see that are in material form has already been manifested because of the way we thought, what we believed. We moved from a space of believing and not a space of knowing. So as of right now, because these things has already come into fruition, we are moving in this energy to simply sustain. But to change all of that, right? To get it where it is that we truly want to be and see of ourselves. As with everything, change starts from within. And in order for that change to really manifest itself into the material form as such as what we already see now, we have to move from an energetic space in thought, in being, to create the change that we want to see around us. But one of the most debilitating things that has allowed this level of manifestation to present itself in terms of us having to work and having, to pay to live is the energy of fear. The frequency of fear, the low vibrational frequency of fear. And the most important thing is to transmute that energy of fear and start moving from a place of not being fearful. That is one of the most critical things in all of this. In order to create the change that we want to see, we have to remove the things that don't allow us to create that change in the correct energy and frequency that will give us the result of what it is that we truly desire. I know many of us is still looking at that we have to sustain, and that is very true. We do have to monetarily and financially sustain in this already manifested environment and experience. But until we as a collective decide to remove the fear that has been grossly set upon us to keep us stagnant and to keep us in this material expression of having to pay to live, to pay to eat. Fear, we have to remove fear. That is very, very, very important. Fear not. There is nothing to fear. You are the creator of your reality. Peace, everyone. Peace. Supreme rising. You are the creator of your own reality. And I'm going to always, when I become aware of things, I'm going to always remind us to take responsibility and accountability for what has been manifested around us. We are responsible. We are responsible as a collective consciousness of what we see around us that has been manifested. The reason why we have to pay to sustain ourselves is because we believed in ideologies that created the manifestation that we now see in our waking life. So we have to take ownership of that. We have to take responsibility of that. We have to do our due diligence to ask ourselves, is what placed us in that belief? And what truly placed us in that belief is so many different things. But what will begin to transcend that belief into what it is that we want to see is the removal of fear. We have to remove fear. One would say, Patrice, how do you remove fear? You simply say, I fear not. And all that is of the universe will come unto you, because if you are pure in heart, that you no longer want to be moved by the energy of fear, all that is will come unto you to transcend that fear into what it is that you need to be to become the better version of yourself, and thus create the reality and manifest the reality that you want to see of yourself. It sounds simple. And in truth, it really is that simple. It's just that we did not understand our true contribution of what we have manifested around ourselves. And it is going to be us as a collective, starting with ourselves first, that is going to create the change that we want to see. This is why I will always affirm and reaffirm to be what it is that you want to see. Take responsibility that your belief, not knowing, but your belief has transcended into what this material plane has presented before us in these eyes. And it will be your knowing that transcends the belief into what it is that you truly desire and what it is that you want to see. So a lot of us are thinking that we need to go back to primitive things and different things of that nature in order to transcend all of the things and change all of the things that we see around us. And that's only because we know not of ourselves and the energy that we house within ourselves. That is the true power, because everything has been created energetically by a thought. And the life that we are now living in terms of having to pay to live has been the manipulation of that thought by the belief that gets us enough energy to create it in manifestation. But the knowing would have brought a different result, because we would have been moving from a deeper place of our being energetically. So looking around you and saying that having to go to work, having to do this is something that you do not desire. You cannot give life to it. We understand that we must still somehow participate in this lower level of manifestation that we do not desire to sustain. But meanwhile, while doing so, we do not give life energetically in thought, in conversation, every little aspect of our being. We no longer give life to what it is that we do not want to exist. We do not give life energetically to what we do not want to sustain. And that goes in part to what social media is putting out there. That goes, we have to grow our discerning spirit to be able to discern what it is that they are utilizing our energy for, to create and manifest into this realm. This is why it is very important for you to fear not. And to simply not to have any fears is to say, I no longer fear anything. Fear is not an option. And all that is will come unto you and become in alignment energetically to dispel the energy and frequency of fear. It is very important to know who you are. I will always profess the fact of knowing thyself, moving from the core of that energy, because that is really truly where the power resides. A lot of people are trying to look at what power is by this phenomenal superhero type of visual of flying and all of those things. But those things are at the aspect of the mastering of self. You first have to master self, because the mastering of self is going to raise your vibration, raise your frequency, raise your sense of awareness, to create the light being that we want to see of ourselves manifested in this realms with the powers that they're trying to tell you that you have. Is the mastering of self. Everybody wants to be able to bend air, bend fire, bend all of the things that is being projected in front of us to say that we have the capabilities of doing. But the true unlocking of who you are genetically, energetically, vibrationally, and in frequency is the mastering of self. And once we begin to master ourselves by growing our state of awareness, ridding ourselves of things that no longer serves us, then the true powers of what it is that we want to see of ourselves will start to come into fruition. And fear is not a part of that equation. Fear not. And I just wanted to put that out there on this early rising to give you something to think about, because I know that there is a lot of dialogue that is going on. But until we take accountability, responsibility of what it is that has already been manifested by the belief, even though it was manipulated in nature by indoctrination, we still have to take ownership and responsibility, because we moved from a place of belief and not a place of knowing. And when you start moving from a place of knowing, as I will always say, it will change the dynamics of what it is that we are energetically putting out in terms of manifestation in the material realm. So with that being said, I love you all immensely. You are the greatest thing since anything. You are greater than your trauma. You are greater than any lie that has ever been told to you. You are opulence. You are abundance. You are enough. You are without fear. You are fearless. You are a beautiful soul. You are a beautiful being. I salute to the divinity within you, and I will always see you in your highness, because I know that your highness exists. We are a part of the oneness. We are connected to each other. And in my view, I see us as one. Ashe, 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 Tracy. Yes, we are fearless. I am fearless. I am fearless. In your I am presence, I am fearless. And all that is of benevolence, that is of righteousness, will come unto you to support that in this expression. I love you all. I salute to the divinity within you. And have a supreme, amazing day. I love you guys. I truly do. All right? Stay loved, stay beautiful, stay you. Stay true to you. Peace, y'all. Love you. Later.